Okay, now it's looking like it's supposed to.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Your one and only Old Tube Radio Networks. I see we got a lighting problem, but I will fix that shortly. Anyway, because it's still bright outside, the gray line is sort of happening, although there hasn't really been much DX skip to speak of. That doesn't mean that we won't have it, or we will be able to check you all in locally. The set's looking pretty good. A lot of wind out there tonight. I don't know what's going on with the wind. Hopefully it will blow in something good. Hello, you're tuned to the Old Tube Radio Network at 27085. Also streaming at oldtuberadio.net, where there are links to do many other things in the net control world. My name is Dennis, one of the many net control operators to sit in the air chair in the 40 years of the Old Tube Radio Network here on Saturday evenings. So thanks for joining us. And if you have a radio from your collection you'd like to bring by, please do so. We're going to do the directed net roll call first, and then we'll be getting to the radios as usual. Also checking in on the live coast-to-coast feed from Old Radio Night, which is going on right now. So be sure to go over and say hello to DD21, JT, and the gang over there. I have a few early check-ins already, which I have picked up from SWL 24, SWL 61. Who else would like an early check-in before we get going here? Over.
95,
and from beautiful and maybe albeit windy Course Gold 195. Jim, we've got you checked in.
Yeah, let's get 650.
And the ever-popular 650 is also on the list here as well. Thanks. Also, while we're at it, let's get the station that will start us off. 2 check-ins. That's 00 if he's around.
Yeah, 00 checking in, Dennis.
All right, 00, and I have to get my correct chart here to do 00. The X in the square. If you're playing the home game, it'll be for March 16th, 2026, and you are sounding good.
All right, thank you. I didn't think it was working there for a minute, but I had to move my cord. It seems to be working out. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, it's getting there. It's getting there. So give it a little room. It'll come to life. We've got a check-in for SWL number 1, the Cosmic Check-in, and likewise, the guy that's 9 pounds, good modulation, and Chestnut and Herndon is right there on your screen somewhere. I see OBP checking in on the air and listening in. So make sure you let Kevin know that he has at least 8.5 pounds and semi-OK modulation. He might have to work on it a little bit, but it's always been pretty good. Thanks for joining us, Kevin, one of the founders, if you will, one of the guys that said, we need to have a spot for the Old Tube radios to get on the air and show what they can do, and get away from all that noise and create a little bit of our own. And we've been doing that for 40 years now. So good stuff. That was a good idea. At least we thought so, right? Way back when. SWL number 3. Hello to Rob, who has been working on the oldtuberadio.com site. So if you need some information about radios or schematics or drawings or something like that, check out oldtuberadio.com on the radio list and see what you can find. Over to SWL 5. Levon is he hanging out here? Yes, he is. He's right here in the Old Tube Radio Network. Thought he might be. He's probably got two streams going, and he's simultaneously at the same time here on OTR and ORN. Let's say hello to Mr. Ed, SWL 7. Also, one of our net controllers, jumping in and listening in. Hello to Radio Canada 128 checking in. Where's does the trying to check the SWLs or the Jingle Singers know "Oh Canada"? They have a version of it. You probably don't want to hear that. Let's go to SWL number 982 Dirt Dog.
How about it? This is Dirt Dog 982 checking in.
This is any better.
Yeah, that is much better. Sounding good. And 982 Dirt Dog out of beautiful Sanger, California on the old tube radio. Sounding good here into Net Control tonight. And we've got a big X in the square. Thanks for joining us. Over.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
Thanks for, as they say, as the Jingle Singers would say, thanks for stopping by. We have a prior possible proxy live check-in for SWL 10 and 30. They're probably jumping into the air chair soon up there from northern Idaho, so we'll be listening in. SWL 11 and 12. I've been traveling the state. I was down in Southern California with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and a few good friends celebrating some birthdays, and I am now back. So I may look a little bit disheveled from the trip up and back, but I will do my best to be dapper. Maybe not as dapper as SWL 12, but I'll try to be on the same lap anyway. SWL 13. Often and sometimes checking in on the crossband, which is up and running. We've already got a check-in from there. Echo Link is up as well. See Tony on there in the queue. Let's go back out to Sangertown for SWL 14.
Hey, good evening, Dennis, and all the other SWLs. 14 checking in.
Checking in and sounding good. I'm just checking some of my meters that aren't in front of my face here, and it all sounds good. You sound good likewise, so we can keep the local noise down and the wind doesn't blow things over, or we'll be good.
Yeah, roger that. It's definitely windy here in Sanger.
Yeah, you guys can get even more wind than we can. I think it's less stuff in the way. So as long as the antenna's not rocking too much, it's doing a good thing. Thanks for checking in. And then we will say good morning to SWL 15 from way over yonder in beautiful Copenhagen, Denmark. So thanks for joining us, Hans. What do you say? Ocean Zanzibar, Oscar Zulu, Hotel Golf Hotel. There's got to be a good way or a proper way to give the call there. I'll put the X where it needs to go. And you're looking good. Thanks for joining us. And hopefully, I know conditions haven't been that great on the higher frequencies. I've been off pretty much all week on the air, but from what I heard when I turned things on today, it sounds like the bands might not have been too great. Unless you were on FT8 on 20 meters, maybe that would work. 10 and 30 are in. I see the jumping dolphins, so let's go ahead and get 10 and 30. If you're playing the home game, you can pop those in right now on page 1 and page 2. Hello, gang. It's a windy day here in Central California. I hope you are having okay weather. I think when we get the cold or we get the cooler weather like this, you guys are probably a little bit chillier than we are. So crank up those tube radios and maybe, just maybe, we will get some skip in tonight. SWL 16, holding down the fort here. While I was away, everything looked good. I didn't have to do too much when I sort of ran in here. Thanks for that. So let me find your X. Let me find your box to put the X in. Thank you, Charlie, for joining us as always. SWL 17. And 10-8 on the rubber pants. I'm glad I don't have the wide angle. And that makes me wonder what we might see when we head over to Old Radio Night tonight. Blood Nose 67, hello to you. Jake from State Farm, looking good in the old Tube Radio Network. I have an X in the square for SWL 18, Mikey. Mr. KDA. America, Zanzibar, hello out there in Nineland. N9AZZ. I never, I checked. I can't remember if you were actually in Nine Land or were in Nine Land. Doesn't matter. You're here right now, so that's a good thing. And we have some speaking of the Hamvention, and Tony mentions this, setting up an OTR booth at Hamvention, and that would be good. What they could do, we could set up a booth, and you would end up just, if you brought an old tube radio, instead of fooling with the swap meet and setting up a table and it's raining and cold, just bring it over to the old tube radio booth and we'll put it up and set it up for you, and maybe we'll take it home as well. I have some pictures direct from Dayton, thanks to SWL 223. We'll look at those a little bit later on things that he saw and maybe found and maybe procured out at Dayton, which is what is it, Sunday, Saturday? Yeah, and it's still going on. It's going on right now. So maybe I'm supposed to be at the booth. That's why it's dark. That's why the lights aren't turned on. I think they were using them. They stole our lights for the Dayton booth. But I like that idea. SWL 19, right there behind the camera, behind the monitor. Chet's got the cue cards, and they are looking good. Just listening, I hear sirens. Is that for us? No. 23 Skidoo says, it looks like the abominable tree man is waving through the window. That is, you can still see outside. There's a lot of glare because the sun is now at such an angle that it lights up the window screen. But that's the wind. That is the wind that's going on. Let's see if, I don't remember if I'm supposed to proxy in this guy or not, SWL 20. I didn't check my email or all those other forms of communication to find out. So who's listening? Harvey, are you driving around? We've got Dallas, Texas, Centerville, Virginia. Hello to Dallas, Georgia. Wait, we've got Dallas, Georgia, and Dallas, Texas. The dueling Dalai. Louisville, Kentucky, Fresno, Champlin, Minnesota, Hennessy, Oklahoma, Lomita, California. I was almost in that area. I was out in Anaheim and Irvine and OC, as we call it. I was hobnobbing in the high rent district in OC, visiting my friends. Broughton, Illinois, Fresno, Angola, New York, Calgary, Alberta. Yes, the Canada connection is certainly on tonight. So Harvey, I'll get you if you're listening. If you're one of those places or not. I'll get your X in the square. I'm going to fire up, and did it go away? No, it should be here. Bring up the audio from Old Radio Night. So here comes the audio, and if you're hearing me, JT, go ahead and take a transmission. I know there's a delay. I see you're on channel 32 on the Excalibur. That's a beautiful radio. Here, we'll get a shot of it.
He's in the Congress, but I can get
there it is.
But he sounds all right.
He's talking to somebody far out there. We are looking in and listening to the live Radio Shack of Old Radio Night from 21SC. And I think he's there. I don't hear his voice. Did he step away?
I said there was nothing wrong with his radio, and he was on frequency also. Yeah, I was listening to him, but
got a big signal who's ever talking. Okay, now we're going to channel
Jed.
17. Okay, here comes a check-in. Stand by.
Oh, Jed's gone.
Uh-oh. Well, check him in. We'll give Jed a proxy. He's getting ready. He's going to find somebody to check in. We're listening to the simulcast from Old Radio Night as he tunes through the channels, now on channel 21.
I want a 2-element star break.
I think he likes to do the check-in on 21 because he is 21.
I want to get a 2-element star.
Okay, Mr. JT, we got you guys checked in from...
I want to get one of them little radio...
the Wasama Swamps.
Put inside my house,
In South
like
Carolina.
a fire stick inside house, That's what I want to get there. And that the people can't see me talking on the radio.
We can see you right now. We're broadcasting you.
Red screen with an antenna matcher hooked to it.
Yeah, there you go. He doesn't know we're broadcasting him worldwide right now.
Them old timers used to tell me they used to bury car radiators in the ground and hook up wires to them and all that kind of stuff there. All right, it's 21 in the Carolinas. I'll see you.
All right, 21 in the Carolinas. Thanks for checking in. Still looking good over at Old Radio Night. So always like the coast-to-coast link-up. Let's go to SWL 22. Where's my list here? 21 is in. SWL 22. SWL 23. 23 Skidoo is out there. Probably cleaning up after I think they were playing the Denny's. Opening it at the at Denny's down in Downey. I had a nice little trip through Downey thanks to Google directions, and I think I saw where the hotel where the Espresso Trucking Company has been staying. And I'm glad I didn't stop. 67, Bill. I'll get you in now before you scroll off. Always keep listening in because you never know when that short skip might happen, and you are in the zone. Directing that roll call. I think I'm still on page 1. Slugging my way through page 1. We just got Skidoo checked in. 24 checked in a little bit earlier. Let's go way out into Madera Heights for SWL 25.
Good evening, Dennis in the nest. 45 checking in.
You're sounding good. Hopefully things are not blowing away out there.
Well, it's a little brisk, a little windy. Got a couple things. I haven't heard the term hobnobby in a long time. Make you laugh. And by the way, is that still Joe Moss on the jingle?
Is that still what about Joe Mock over?
On the jingle, on the opening of the program, is that still Joe Moss?
Well, that is not Joe, and I'm trying to think if Joe was even working there when the Jingle Singers did their original deal. That's actually Rich, who worked with Joe, and in fact, they put together the Shaw Avenue building. Joe and Rich put that together when they moved from the First Street. These are so old. This is when they were down on First Street, and I haven't seen some communication from Joe in a while, but usually I'll have to see if he went to NAB or not, or if he's working with his telephones. But yeah, I'll if we see Joe or hear from Joe, we'll tell him you say hello.
Absolutely will. Anyway, thanks for the check-in. Might go check 74 in too.
All right, 25, looking good. You'll get the X in the square. And the next tour date for the Espresso Trucking Company is in Motel 6 off the 405. The 405 as it goes past Rosecrans Avenue, I think, up there. I did not, normally that's where I'm on. I'm normally on. You can tell the California guys, we say the. I would normally use the 405, but this time I had to head into Disneyland in Anaheim, so it was on the 5. Let me tell you, that's just as bad. Anytime you have an LA freeway that only has 2 lanes on it for a while, that is a bad thing. Do not ever, when you're on the LA freeways, don't ever take away a lane. That just causes big problems. And they should know that by now. Let's go to SWL 27.
27 checking in live from Studio G, where I have 76 degrees and a little bit of breeze blowing outside. And don't forget about the FARC swap meet this next Saturday, Lion Automotive, 2944 Phillip Avenue in Clovis, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. We'll have a nice hamburger lunch for you.
Great. Thanks for the reminder. I almost forgot about that. That's, just off of Gettysburg, the west or the east side of Clovis Avenue, Lion Automotive. Larry and the gang, and you guys always do a great event. There are swap tables. You've got nothing on Dayton, right? You'll have some good stuff. And yeah, keep the studio door closed to or the door closed to Studio G, because you'll end up sweeping out debris with all that wind. Sounding good. Thanks for jumping in, and hope to see you guys out there next Saturday. I noticed they didn't have to combine it with Dayton. That was smart. Out at Lions Automotive for the Fresno Amateur Radio Club FARC swap meet. Thanks, Dwayne.
Roger. Thanks, Dennis. Number 27, KI6QF.
Got you checked in. KB6GFD. All right, from the Cross Band, number 27, out in Studio G.
Quickie break.
Dwayne is one of the head honchos there in the Fresno Amateur Radio Club, or has been for a while, so he always knows what is going on. The Quickie break, go ahead.
Well, thank you much, sir. Dennis, the address one more time for that, please.
Lions Automotive. It's on. Here we go.
2944 Phillip Avenue.
So 2944 Phillip Avenue, which is if you were going up Clovis Avenue and you turn on Gettysburg, so now you're going east, away from Fresno. I believe there's two streets, and then you make a right turn. Phillip is the second street, and you go down the block a little bit, and it'll be on the right-hand side. LYON Automotive.
Thank you, Dennis.
Look for the parking lot with all the antennas. Thanks, Dwayne. KB6GFD. Next Saturday, so we'll see. Might have some stations picking up some stuff. Might have some new check-ins. I always like that when we get they have the swap meet and somebody grabs a radio and is able to check in. Let's go to SWL 28. And I talked so much. Did I miss Gary? No, he's right there. Hello, everyone. 28 checking in. Apple pie, ice cream, and coffee. Enjoying the Delta breeze. Yeah, you guys, 70 degrees. It's probably what we had, 76, 77 here. And it is more than a breeze sometimes, but it is nice because we know Gary, we know what is coming up in the next couple of weeks here for the Central San Joaquin Valley and Sacramento Valley, some hot temperatures, so this is nice. SWL 29 with a proxy check-in. SWL 30 is listening in. He's got the Brownings. He's got the Robins. He's got the radios. He's got the tram. He's got it all ready to go, just in case. SWL 31, Robert and Teresa out in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Looking good. I'll give you guys an X in the square. And from the recliner with a snoring pug, enjoying the old tube radio network, and with visions of sugar plums and not having to jump into the big truck, right? Not having to jump into the utility truck and drive. Here's another one for you, Jerry. Drive it willy-nilly to find things that aren't working correctly. That will all be a good dream coming up. Anyway, Rob, looking good. Good DX to you if that's a thing. And we will chat some more. I think the bands are starting to open up a little bit on 20 and 15. And we will see. Okay, anyway, enjoy the program, as we say. It's SWL 33, myself and Bozo. There were sightings. There were Bozo Control sightings. That he has come out of hibernation. So if the rumors are true, I'm shaking in my boots. What might happen to the old Tube Radio Network here? So we'll get everybody checked in. SWL 34, Jimmy and the gang out in Batavia, near Chicago, Railroader and Captain Chaos. Let's say hello to Mr. Bill out at Red Monkey Communications in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Thanks for all you do. And I hope the new wheels, the new ride, the trailer is working out and all decked out and ready to go. Look good in the pictures. Hey, and we've got a recipe. It's been a while. I got hooked on the tater tots and the ham long ago when the recipes showed up. So if you got the ability to look at the chat, and that'll either be at oldtuberadio.net, the chat window is there, or you can you can click on the Facebook. No, it's live show. You click on the live show link and it takes you to the YouTube. And we've got spice cookies from SWL10 going on. So they'll be on the chats. You'll be able to write them down as they go along. Let us know how they turn out. I might have to do that. Thank you, Chrissy. We always enjoy the recipes and the extra time you take to share with us some good stuff. SWL 36. That's Ken, Mr. UDX 111. Well, Brett, you found Boso Control. It's right there. The honking proboscis and everything. And there's Ken, SWL 36, checking in. I see you. I will put the X in the square and checking in. Let's make you official. There we go. Next, to the guy that checked in at 00. Got us started off. Did he get back to the air chair in time? SWL 37. Well,
SWL 37 checking in. I have to hold the wire.
You have to hold the wire, but you can turn your gain back down because when you're holding it the right way, you've got your audio's good.
All right, how's that?
That is bueno. That is a good thing. Over.
Okay, well, anyway, I gotta hold the wire there to get it just right. I gotta restart this thing one of these days.
Yeah, sometimes it makes a connection. Sometimes it almost makes a connection. Sometimes it doesn't do much. But I heard you, and I heard you sign in, and I heard you sign out. So 37 has got the X in the square once again. Actually, it's your very own square, 00. You don't have to share with anybody. Thanks, thanks, Chris, and yeah, good luck in getting the blob of solder in the right spot. Let's go to SWL 38. Sam. Listening in. I bet it's windy up there, too. It's South Jersey. Headphone Harvey checking in from the Jersey Shore. Do you know, or are you related to this station? ExtremeCB.com at 27085. I think he hangs out in your neck of the woods. Maybe it's an alias. You never know. Maybe we're talking to the right guy. Let's go to SWL 39. And we have a sighting. Wait a minute. We have a sighting from Winnebago. E-bike in the garage. Oh, you made it. All right. Well, you, no doubt, you are going to take the whisk broom and dust yourself off just a little bit, just a wee bit. Check the tires for some those little puncture vines, and go back and feed the rodents. But it's a good thing. All right, you will have stories to tell. I enjoyed the photo ride along, and glad you made it back. That it was a very, I don't know how to say it, a very endeavorous endeavor, and you are back to tell us all about it. So thanks. Go do what you need to do, and glad you made it back. Sounds exciting. I think you did it just at the right time. Weather wasn't too bad. It might have got rained on a couple of times, but good stuff. SWL 40, charging the batteries up on the e-bike. And Steve Arena, let me put the 40 check in here. From the Bob and Steve Show, of course, near... Beautiful, the Dayton Hamvention. Lots of fun. Old Tube Radios would love it. In fact, we are going to be showing some photos of the Tube Radios that were at Dayton. And a few of our stations picked some up. And, of course, you know, the Bob and Steve Show always willing to lend a hand. They have sent out... Where is it? Where's the picture? They have sent out the big red limo and they're going to stack it up with all of the good tube radios that were purchased to bring them back here for the old tube radio network. So they'll get a ride along, and hopefully they'll be here shortly. So again, thanks for the use of the limo. We will have a fun time unloading that with all the Dayton Hamvention radio stuff. The old Tube Radio Network. Let me get back to my list here. Net control, SWL check-ins. We've got 40. How about SWL 41? And, you know, who was that? Tony, DX Engineering had a huge amount of floor space. I looked at the chart, and they would have where the booths are. And you're right. Some of those places had 3 and 4 booths on one floor, and then you'd look. I don't know if they were floors or buildings. You look at another building, there'd be another booth. Like they thought, well, if you didn't want to walk this far, we'll put in another booth. So really good stuff. Supporting two-way radio, they do. So maybe next year I'll be able to go. I might be like Rob. I might be retired and might be able to figure that one out. Let me jump ahead before he scrolls away to SWL 147. Neil Kakalaki checking in. Great spring weather in the mid-80s. Yeah, it is that spring-like stuff. Good action yesterday, but radio's dead quiet today. That's what it sounded like when I checked in. Running out of skip? Shouldn't be. I was checking some solar stuff from ARRL, and it is definitely down, even though the numbers look like they should be better. Anyway, 73 to 887, Dr. Jazz in the Carolina Sandhills, 147. You are in. Let's go back to 41. Road Dog 507 is there. I will make the X in the square official. Orange County React, of course, in Hudson Valley of New York, saying hello radio to everyone out there. And likewise, let's go to SWL 42.
Good evening, Dennis and the Radio Lifer gang, all here and accounted for.
Sounding good, definitely looking good on the scope, and as usual, if you have got some radios, we got a parking space for you on the radio list coming up.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Hope everyone's having a good evening.
We're enjoying, trying to keep out of the dust. I didn't see any. It was windy coming back from over the ridge, but I guess we've got enough rain, and I didn't see a lot of dust blown across the highway or anything. I didn't see any dust. So that's a good thing. All right, sounding good. Thanks for checking in. And you kind of hear the noise. There's a lot more noise floor tonight. All of that. And I think part of that is due to the wind. Direct net roll call, page 2 is where we are at. Let's look for SWL 43. I've got to check in for 44. I bet he was around on I missed all the nets last week. I missed the Wednesday night net on 10 meters. I missed the ditch banks last night on Friday. So I bet Mr. 360 was there. We'll get him checked in. Likewise with SWL 45 for Paul and Kelly up in North Fork. Let's go out to Wisconsin for SWL 46. And don't forget, the recipe is up on the screen on the video. So if you missed part of it, it'll be easy to go back and scroll and write down the tasty, toasty ingredients. SWL 47.
Good evening to all from the Radio Lounge, SWL 47.
You're sounding good. Stay out of the wind, and thanks for checking in. Over.
Yeah, I'm not going back out there. I spent a lot of time cleaning the pool up today, and, it was futile, but there it is.
Yeah, well, it's not in the middle of leaf season, but there's plenty of dead things blowing around that'll ruin your pool parade. Anyway, sounds good. Thanks for checking in. There it is, but you're at the base station, 61 over.
Yeah, is the signal any stronger?
No, the signal is great. Yeah, it's stronger and it's louder and stronger over. All right. Oops. Well, you should have your 13.8 volts now or more. Sounds good.
Thank you, sir. You have a good evening. Sorry about it.
No problem. 61's got the official check-in. Over. We made it through 47. We're looking for 48. Sammy KP out there in Madero is probably lurking somewhere, maybe on Facebook, maybe listening in. We'll get you checked in. SWL 49. SWL 50. And Headphone Harvey, I know what you mean. I'm the same way when it comes to 27025. What I do is I set up a radio on the table, down about 3 feet, and then I'll key up and talk to myself. And you know what? Even when I do that with a little antenna on the back of the radio, I still get stepped on when I'm on channel 6. That's how powerful those stations are. There's just no winning unless you're one of the big guns. SWL 50 is there. Let me put the X with the check. There it is. Thanks, Gerald, for joining us. Battle Creek, Michigan, looking good. Let's go to SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking in.
All right, got the keeping the antenna propped up and vertical. Doing a good job here into Midtown. Thanks for checking in. All the way from near Sangertown. SWL 52. Not sure where Aaron is tonight. He might pop in on the crossband or somewhere. I'll keep that number open. Sometimes known as the Legend. No, it's always known as Legend. Legend. SWL 53.
Give him a proxy, Dennis.
Yeah, someone, in fact, there's a little note that says proxy in Bob. He might stop by, but we know. We know where to put that X. Thanks. SWL 54. Got a proxy in for Larry. SWL 55.
55, checking in.
55 sounding good. Here in the Flatlands, we've got you checked in. Thanks.
You too. Thank you, Dennis.
Where are we going now? Oh, I know. He can say it better than I can. 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the Net. 56, just for kicks.
And what does the Tricks rabbit say about kicks or tricks? 56, sounding good, sir, and the X is in the square. Thanks. Next would be SWL 57. Somewhere out of central Kentucky. Thought I saw Kentucky on my list tonight. Topeka, Kansas. Hello to you. York, Pennsylvania. I don't know. I don't see that Kentucky station anymore. SWL 58. I'll get a check in for Jeremy. I bet he was hanging around at the Ditchbank sideband net the other night. Let's go to SWL 59. Perhaps sauntering over to the microphonium, the mouse, little X's and checks. Looking good from all the way from Old Radio Night here to the Old Tube Radio Network. Uncle Hairball, thank you. Looking good in the Old Tube Radio neighborhood. SWL 60.
Thank you, Dennis. Evening time to all the crew out there. SWL 60 checking in.
I the pen goes underneath my J38 key, and I press the key, and it doesn't key up because the pen is in the way. I think it's working now, and you are sounding good, Joe. We've got you checked in.
Thank you, Dennis.
All those strange technical difficulties that are caused by too much junk on the desk. Foxman 362. Back from search from the elusive, probably the last couple of days, the elusive skip. You got to be in the right spot at the right time. And then when it's bad conditions like this, you got to have a station like Richie. You got to have something that that'll cut the mustard. Not like OTR Net Control. 61 checked in actually twice. Once sounding good and once sounding really good. Let's go to SWL 62. And then we go over to SWL 64, and Craig checked in just before the net. I did see you out there in Wisconsin, so we got the X and the square. Let's go to SWL 65. Speaking of Chicago, let's check in Chocolate City, 95 1/4. I always like to do, when I'm splitting frequencies on the ham bands, go like 95 1/2. Go to the half channels. It makes the SWLs work just a little bit harder, but you know if they tune you in correctly, that they've put in a little bit of effort. So at 95 1/4 at .250 is going to be even more of a challenge. So thanks, Chocolate City. I may try that. I may try going to the quarter spots here in a little bit. Let's go over to, in fact, I'll do it now. We're going to go to 11 1/4. What do you think of that? All right. Now, let's go back. Sorry. I didn't mean to get off topic here. Let's go to SWL. I've totally forgotten where I was supposed to be. SWL 65. Chet is saying, if you just read the cue cards, we'll be on time. No, don't go off the script. SWL 66. Is that he's saying, what am I here for? Oh, no, okay, I'm looking. I will behave. SWL 67, Bill in Canby had checked in a little bit earlier. Saw him in there. He's listening. He's listening for some skip to happen. A little short E-skip. Let's go to SWL 68. SWL 69. Wait, was Kenny in earlier? I don't have an X in the box. Sometimes he gets in early, and I miss it. So I'm gonna get it checked in now, because I know he will be there. SWL 70. SWL 71 is right there on my screen. Hello, Stan. I knew I saw Dallas, Georgia on the list, and I said, oh, I know that 71 can't be far behind. I have not had the DX radio on today to know if it's CQP, CQD, who's doing what. You know, it's Dayton. Do they coordinate and say, don't put any contests when Dayton is going on? Probably some CQ run for the bacon thing, which you wouldn't know about. You probably have a lot of CQ bacon. Anyway, good to have you back on the net there, Stan, and thanks for all you do in making sure that people that want to get on the two-way radio have a chance to do that and explore all the good stuff. Let's go to SWL 72. SWL 73 checked in just before the net. John was on the crossband along with another station, so I'll get 73 checked in. SWL 74's got a check in from earlier. SWL 76 out in Rhode Island, waiting for the internet to catch up. SWL 77.
Well, good evening, Dennis. 77, train wreck on the old Tower of Power, checking in.
All right, we are looking for a little train wreck of our own coming up. So stay tuned. I saw them fixing the little subway bridge over on Maroa as it dumps below, Van Ness. I guess it's the Van Ness overcrossing or something. They had the trucks up there on that 13.8 foot high bridge and out of wood, just so that, I'm sure, so there wouldn't be a train wreck. Thanks for checking in and sounding good. SWL 78, who I saw that. I was in your stomping grounds out in OC. There's a lot of expensive cars. I kind of felt out of place driving through there. I didn't want to stop too long and park next to somebody and upset them, but had fun. The weather was great. It was the typical June gloom. I thought that only happened at the beach, but about, you know how it is, about 12 or 1 o'clock, the sun comes through and the clouds break away, and it was a beautiful, easy, low 70-degree temperature all day, perfect for standing in line and getting the you-know-what shaken out of you on roller coasters and all sorts of other things that old people shouldn't be doing. So thanks for checking in. And thank you, Chrissy. We got the recipe for the cookies, and I don't know if there was another one, but it's on the screen on this program. If you're watching the video in the post-live session, just scroll back a little bit on the video, and you'll see the recipe going through. Write it down and try it out. As we used to say on television, you'll be glad you did. Let's go to SWL 79. Philip was in earlier, checking his microphone, sounding good. SWL 80. SWL 81. Shortwave listener 82.
Hey, good evening. 82 checking in from the Ditch Banks of Biola. Good evening.
And good evening. I think I missed two. We were doing the concert 2 weeks ago, and then I was out of... flailing around on roller coasters at Disneyland last night, I guess. And so how did the net go last night?
Pretty smooth, all local check-ins, no DX coming through, a little bit of down under, but they just weren't strong enough to get a good copy on. So anyway, all is well.
Sounded good. Yeah, if they couldn't hear you or you couldn't hear them, then they were definitely in mud duck category. Ron, the purveyor of the Ditch Banks sideband net, has a great transmitter and receiver. You can hear the likes of me on a Friday evening at 8 p.m. on channel 36 lower, 27365. Join them, won't you, on a Friday evening if you're here locally and you've got an LSB position on your radio. Tune it in and take a transmission. Again, there's a visitor section, so you don't have to be on any list to say hello. Thanks, Ron, for checking in.
Roger.
Who had shake and bake? And I saw that, and I helped. I checked in SWL 82, and I helped. I like that. That's how you know you are old. If you think it's butter, but it's not. Or you can take Salem out of the country, but you can't take the country out of Salem. Oh man, cigarette. Let's go to SWL 83. Where is Jay-Z? I think he might have put in some more pictures. We've got Dayton. We'll be during the tube radio check-ins. We'll be looking at some of the stuff that was out in the swap tables at the Dayton Hamvention. We're going to check in for the dynamic duo, and then the dynamic duo once again, SWL 84, 86, 87, and 88. Of course, that's Cheerios Kid, Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl, respectively, as they say. SWL, let's go all the way up to 91, and Felix was in early, getting checked in. I say early. Early for us on the West Coast. He was in late for the guys on the East Coast after checking into Old Radio Night, coming to the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks, Felix, for stopping by. Let's go to SWL 92. Somebody you get a proxy for 92? Okay. SWL 93. Might be looking for that elusive DX out in Clovis. Put a proxy in for 93. Okay, I will do that. Let's still go to SWL 95. Hello to Bill out there in Wilmington. Yeah, Wilmington, North Carolina. I think I drove through Wilmington, Southern California. And the Ditch Banks frequency, Friday night, that's 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 8 p.m. our time on the West Coast, and that will be 36 lower, 27,365. At that time, at the same time as this net, so if you're on the West Coast and the skip is in, we might hear you. If it's, it's getting lighter. So the skip could still be in from the Midwest. So give it a listen. He's got a really good transmitter. So if the sun is still up on the West Coast, might be able to hear you from all over. Making sure I didn't miss anybody. El Toro checking in from Memphis, Tennessee. There is an El Toro in Orange County. That's where I was. That's the name of the city. So from El Toro, SWL 96. Kurt, if you hear me, we'll get you on the Echo Link. I see on the Echo Link. So I'll get you checked in now, but we'll chat with you on the Echo Link. And speaking of chatting, Jim is here, SWL 97, Boston. Jim, hello to you. Thanks for stopping by. 9 or 7. Did I make you checked in? Yeah, the X is in the square. Good to hear you in there. I need another Boston trip. In fact, I was with my Tanya, my brother's wife, and we had a friend come in. She had a friend come in to join us one of the days at Disneyland, and it was one of the people when she was living in Boston that we met. She said, "I remember you when you were in Boston." I thought, "Yeah, that was a long time ago." So that's the OTR Boston connection tonight. Let's go to SWL 98. X in the square for Tracy, and I apologize. I've been so busy, I haven't checked. Tracy and Jeff do I'll call it a virtual kicker, as we used to say in the business, and a little advertisement, a little pre-show teaser for the Old Tube Radio Network. That's always on the Central Valley Sea Beers Facebook page. So if you get a chance to jump into that, take a look at it. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm sure I'm in for a good time after the program when I go find that out and find out what I've been doing. Find out what trouble my virtual self has gotten into. Let's go to SWL, and Tracy, we got you checked in. SWL 99. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we will kick over to the Echo Link, and we'll pick up Tony first, but we've got a couple of stations to talk to. KD4BAO, KB6GFD, take a transmission. Tony checking on the Echo Link from South Carolina. Should be jumping
good
in.
evening, Dennis. Good to hear you. Please check in SWL 100 and back to net control, KD4BAO.
Sounding good, sir. Okay, let me find your X and the 10. Tony is our Tubes, TOTA, Tubes on the Air purveyor, and he's heading over to the park bench with all the tubes and pulling up the fiberglass mast, and we're going to be ready to check in some radio. So thanks, 73 KB6GFD. And we will try some more Echolink. Who's that? Got Bricks. Yeah, it's like, oh, these bricks are this way and that way, so it's 1700s for this building, and these bricks are that way and that way, and there are a lot of bricks. If there was a stock market back in the day, it's like buy bricks. Buy bonds, buy bricks. Let's go to, we are looking for Kurt. We'll check in SWL 96. So W9KEC, KB6GFD, go ahead, over. I forgot I had the Echolink keyed up. Makes it difficult.
Good evening, Dennis, everybody on the net. Dennis, been away for a couple of weeks. Hope you've been doing okay. I've been out messing around on 20 meters. Where I live, I can't put an antenna up, so I've been playing radio from my car.
That worked.
With my new ICOM 7300 into a 25 amp hour battery and a 20 meter ham stick with a triple magnet mount. And I tell you, when the bands are in, I'm talking all over the world with that thing. But today, I struggled to get 2 POTUS stations out of Florida, so horrible band conditions today, but I'm hoping that it'll pick up and get better. All right, Dennis, I'll kick it back over to you. As always, good to see your mug on the TV screen as I play Echolink. You have a great evening. Thanks, everybody who stopped by the net. As always, Dennis, thanks for taking the net. Have a good one. 7-3. This is W9KEC. We'll be there in your final.
All right, will do. Sounding good, and that's actually a good way to go. If you can't get something up, but you've got a radio that's 12-volt DC capable, and I did that before. Put up the mobile antenna and pull out in the driveway or drive up the hill a little bit. 20 meters is a good band for doing that, because mainly if something's going to be open, that one would be open, although, as you said, today was slim pickings. 40 meters during the day is also a good band for running mobile to make contact. So I don't know, maybe we'll hear you from the mobile station. The ham sticks work well. You can buy them for different frequencies. It's a spider antenna, so it's got one mast, but it's got the different resonators. It's an old thing I bought probably 30, 35 years ago, but it kind of works. Or, like you say, if you get an antenna, I suppose you can run something from the car up to the house. So you're doing it good. Sound like you're having fun on the radio, and that is the way to go. Thanks for stopping by, and hopefully we'll get some conditions in the future. So we've got you checked in. That is Kurt 96, 73 to you, KB6GFD. And we've got
7-3, Dennis.
Let's check in with Al out there in Sparks, Nevada. See what's going on. If you guys got wind, what's going on up there? Rain, whatever. KI6CBA, KB6GFD, take a transmission. It's up in the hills a little way.
Hey there, Dennis. It's all looking good. Oh, yeah, hot as heck up here. Windy, no, not particularly, but it's going to be hot next couple of days. And I'm just looking forward to the radios. They're coming on tonight, and they're all just so colorful. And I just think of the type of conversations that used to go on those radios in the olden days. So anyway, we're going to be looking forward to them, and it's kind of fun to watch the comments here. And I just have a good time being with you.
All right, and likewise, I couldn't get my transmitter to go up there, so it's always nice to have the ride-alongs from the listeners and taking us into the tube radios that are coming up shortly. So 73 to you. Have a good rest of the weekend, and thanks for jumping into the old tube radio network, KB6GFD. And we got the wacky connections again. Somebody's phone is lagging. Foxman. Yeah, just get do like Rob. Get in the recliner. Get back in the recliner, and if you fall asleep, then you'll just have to watch. You'll have to tune in. Tune in the replay. We're not going anywhere. So yeah, I realize West Coast here it's 8:30, almost 9 o'clock. It is 9 o'clock. Just turned 9 o'clock. So that means it is tomorrow in a lot of places tuning in. Is it tomorrow in in Arkansas. I'm not sure. We'll ask John. SWL 102. What day is it over? Did I go so slow that I checked you in tomorrow today? Finger on the button is a good thing. No, it's still Saturday. All right. If it's OTR, this must be Saturday. 102 is in and looking good. Let's go to SWL 103. That's Joey in South Carolina. SWL 32 is still awake. That's because, depending on which way Doggy is facing, you might have the tail, right, keeping you awake. Not sure how that works. Not sure how that works with the dragon. June 5th and 6th coming up is there's a reptile. I saw the sign, the billboard coming into Fresno. It's I don't know the details because I just saw it going by. It was a reptile show, and I think it's at the convention center. So if it is, it might be pretty big. It's going to be 2 days. Some type of reptile gathering, gathering of the reptiles coming up here in Fresno. So bring what do they eat? Bring your cabbage or your bugs. I don't know. Let's go to, did 103 make it? I'm looking, right there. Put the check big enough so I could see it. He said, if the guy ever stops talking in the air chair, he'll see my check in. Thanks, Joey. And it's tomorrow already. I talk so long, I have to check you in tomorrow. I know that's going to be some demerits from the front office. Let's go over to SWL 109. $109. He might wish it's tomorrow. I'm going to put an X in the square for Crawdad. SWL 110. SWL 111. I did see Robert checking in earlier, and I don't know. I bet I would have heard him because there was no skip, so I was probably not in the air chair. And it's 4:05 in the afternoon in New Zealand. The Scarecrow UDX 462 is saying hello, radio. And was it the Scarecrow that sang, with the thoughts I've been thinking, I could be another Lincoln if I only had a brain. That is my watchword around here. Direct net roll call. We are going to be getting to some radios if I ever get done with the roll call. Frank D number 1. Hello there. No pizza tonight, but in Yellow Springs anyway. Well, sometimes you gotta have that broccoli soup. You can't have the pizza or something, or just have donuts. Just have little chocolate donuts. You always get pizza. Let's go to SWL 113. SWL 114.
114, checking in.
114, Wayne, checking in, sounding good. I've got the X in the square over.
Sounds good there, Dennis. Thank you for the check-in.
All right, thank you for the good report. Sometimes even I can be 9 pounds, good modulation at Chestnut and Herndon or beyond. Let's go way out yonder, where it is, it's tomorrow there, SWL 128, out in Fairfax, Virginia. I have to see if John checked in earlier. He's been busy lately, so sometimes he's got to check in early. Paul saying that OTR is worldwide. It's amazing. You can be a mud duck, but thanks to the Universal Media Netweb and beaconing those zeros and ones, it'll take you where you want to go. But still more fun to have that wireless. You don't get a bill at the end of the month kind of communications. We'll be doing that here shortly. Let's go over to SWL 131. SWL 135, Mr. Green Arrow checked in on the crossband a little bit earlier. He's got an X in the square. SWL 145. I will get Tony checked in because I believe he left some questions. I didn't preview them because I don't even think I've checked my email for days, but they're there, so we will look. We'll look for those in just a bit here before we go careening off into the tube radio stuff. Yeah, it looks like we've got some questions from Tony. SWL 147, Neil checked in a little while ago, so we got Neil on the board. SWL 188. That's Mr. Snow Beast. Get him checked in. 195, you heard Course Gold Starliner check in at the beginning of the net. Sounding good. So, Jim, I'm putting the official X in. And 223. Robert in Madeira checking in, and let me take a pause here because Robert is at, or was at, or will be at, sending pictures from Dayton. So I just want to, we'll look at these during the tube radio time. But here's some of the stuff that he's been looking at in Dayton, and there's more than just one. Let me go to the picture here. Browning. More random tubes from Xenia, Thursday and Friday. Okay, that's the swap meet. Lots of stuff. Looks pretty nice. And usually the swap meet is good and the deals are good. What's this one here? We'll put in one more here if you're can see the video and it might load. This is a Tram D201 and the Microphonium. Looking for a new home. We'll have to see if any of these actually make it back. Here's another one, DAC. What model is that? Is that the 10? Can't see the number on that one. It looks like a 10. Sitting there at Dayton. Can you read the price? I want to see. I'm gonna zoom in on that. There's a thing on the top. $235. Oh wow! Well, that's probably the first day. I know it'll be coming down, and it is a Mark. It's the IX. It's the Mark 9. Good stuff at Dayton. So maybe next year, JT and Extreme CB and the OTR can all get to Dayton and do something from there. SWL 226. That's Mr. Shockwave. I got to check out his OTR promo video. Anybody else checking into the old Tube Radio Network? I guess I got to get on the right screen. It doesn't make any sense. Quickly, going over the questions. All right, here we go. Number one. We'll do them quickly here. Of the 10 FCC call, well, this is kind of a ham question. Of the 10 FCC call districts, how many districts have exactly 3 states each? So in your call, if it's a KB6 or a W7 or, a K9 or a W1, that one represents a certain amount of states, or a state or multiple states. So what they're asking is, I have no clue on this, of the call districts, how many of those numbers represent exactly 3 states? I don't have a clue. The choices are the 3-call area, which is A, or B, the 2-call area, or C, the 4-call area, or D, the 1-call area. 4 is a big area, so I know it's not 4. But how many districts have exactly 3 states each? So is it the 3rd call, the 2nd call, the 4th call, or the number 1 call? Number 1 call only has a couple. So I don't know. If I was to guess, I would guess maybe 2. SWL2 says 3. Beagleman says 2. That's what I say. And let me see who we got. The answer, 3 districts, 3, 8, and 9 only have 3 states each. 2 radio receive. Okay, so what is the answer? And the answer is 3. These questions are always, they confuse the host here. 8 and 9 only have 3 states each. Answer, 3. districts. 3, 8, and 9 only have 3 states each. So that's it. So what was the answer? Of the 10 FCC call districts, how many districts have exactly 3 states each? Oh, 3, 2, 4, or 1. I totally read that question wrong. So 3 districts have 3 states each. So actually, because I read the question wrong, people actually understood the question. And whoever said 9 was correct. Whoever said 3 was correct. Because those districts 3 and 9 have 3 states, and 8. So the 8 calls. So it's all the, I know it wasn't 6 because we only have 1 or 2 if you count Hawaii. So, all right. Some of you actually, despite my best efforts to confuse you, were correct. 9 is correct and 3 is correct. People know their own call districts. The guy out here in Sixth Land is clueless. He can't even read the question. One more question. I'll try and do better. Chet says you can be replaced. Radio receivers in the early days utilized power from 3 battery sources. Oh, this is a good question. How were these identified? Okay, they're not giving us a clue. Well, I know it's there's 3 sources, huh? I say radio receivers in the early days utilized powers from 3 battery sources. I know of 2. There was the big like a 90-volt battery. I think that was an A or a B. And then there was sometimes there was a smaller battery, like a 1 or 2 volt for the filaments. And I don't remember which that one was. A, B, and C, 102. I would agree with that because I know one of them was a B. The big one was an A or a B battery. A, B, and C, Richard. Okay, let's check the answer. Radio receivers in the early days utilized power from 3 battery sources. How were they identified? They were identified by A, B, and C. For the filament, A for the filament, B for the plate, and C for biasing the grid. So yeah, there were portable, I have one. It was a Helicrafters 1950s portable radio with a big leather strap, and I know it had at least 2 batteries for it. But that was your take it to the beach radio. Kick sand on the tubes. All right, very good. Thanks for keeping me honest here. So anybody have the, what's the other one? The Zenith 7000? What was that radio? Transoceanic, I think, had a lot of batteries in it. All right, enough talking. I will be back in moments. I will be checking your radio check-ins right here on the Old Tube Radio Network. And John, we're lamenting that too. John is 102 from Arkansas. And John, you're right. Because of the time difference, the sun goes down and we lose the conditions. Well, the sun is still in the Pacific, and that's why we get the gray line from them. But John has correctly stated that he's been checking the OTR for several years, and he's being modest for that. He's like one of our first digital listeners that we started. When did we start going digital? Like 2011. So that could be 15 years ago. Anyway, he says he's never heard band conditions check in from Fairfax. We get Arizona, we get Colorado, New Mexico. That's about where it stops. I don't recall if we've ever heard Texas, but we hear a lot of Oregon and Washington. And we should. When it gets warmer during the summer, we'll probably have the E-skip. So don't give up. Don't let that discourage you from getting on your microphone and saying, break OTR, and listening for nothing. Back in a bit, the Old Tube Radio Network. And hello, Albert, Squamish, west coast of BC, where we probably could hear you guys. All right, I'm jumping out of the air chair for a second.
Break OTR.
No brakes allowed.
Okay, I'll take it back.
Here we go again. I'm even hearing an eagle key up from far away, so you never know. OTR
You
Radio.
may not find us on your TV. Doesn't change, you did not know. We're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
I just like when they spell out RADIO. You know, it's something special when you have to do that. The Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio's glowing in the dark. Back in the air chair here. Let me clear out everything. And also, before we take the tubes, are you still in the air chair, Harvey? Over?
Yes, I am.
All right, I have the tube radio list is still up, so I can put the 20. The 20 right to be on the right, or maybe I can't. There it is, up in the square. So you are good to go. Over.
Alrighty, and do 29 and 54 also.
I will do. All right, thank you, sir. And Bill is checking. Let's go to the REA meter. I about fell off my chair when the Jingle Singers started up on that last thing, so I had to William was correct. I had to adjust my little positive peaks. It's weird because it looks like it could be flat topping and distorting, but when you actually hear it live, it's not that bad. Anyway, let me check. Is the audio distorting tonight?
Just a little.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody noticed the positive peaks were way up there, and I'm looking. And indeed they are. So let's use the REA meter to its best item of interest. So that's a little better. And the middle meter too, if it's hitting at 25 like it is, it could, you know what it is? I probably have a lot of high frequency that's causing that. So where's my knob? Where's my knob here? I'm going to break some stuff. Hold on.
Them positive peaks were against the glass.
Yeah, you know, the only guy that can do that is John, Motormouth Mall, because he's got some special stuff. I got to keep my actually it's a negative peaks too that you got to look at. That's where the flat topping happens. If you got the right stuff, you can keep those negative peaks at 95 and the positive peaks to where they went. All right, I'll do that. Anyway, it's not about me because the radios are up here. So as long as I can keep from distorting. And there's a different feed. There's actually two separate feeds going between the network stream and the radio stream. So one can be good and the other one can be distorted in the way I'm doing it. So there it is. I like that. I like when the SWLs are saying, you know, this guy, this guy better get his act in shape. Listening for your radio check-ins, the Old Tube Radio Network.
20, 20, 20, 20, 20.
77.
All right, we had a definitive. If I added that together, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, that would be like 177. So, Dennis, don't go away. I know you won't. And let's head over to the west side for Harvey. What is going on? You have something important to talk about. Over.
Okay. This is a Tram TR27. No B, no D, no C, no E. Just the original, I guess. No, not the first one, but TR27. Just plain 27. Anyway, someone modified it, put 23 channels in it, did a fairly decent job. It was working when it got to fills, then it stopped working. And it took me a little bit, but I finally figured out what was wrong, and now it's working. So it goes back to fill, number 56. Amplified D104 turned down to about a quarter. Let me see. I don't know how many tubes are in this thing. Let me see if I can. Well, I guess is, I don't know. It's got the same amount as the 27E, except one more. It's got the OA2 rectifier tube, which had been replaced with a solid state one. So, I don't know. Anyway, I'm too lazy, too tired to go grab the 27E book. Anyway, schematic-wise, it's close, but no cigar. This 27 has got enough differences to it that you gotta hunt and peck and try and figure it out. Anyway, that's a long key down to make sure everything's okay on transmit. Everything's okay on receive, except the needle's really tight and doesn't want to be nice to people. But other than that, it sounds pretty darn good on receive. Back to you, Dennis.
Back to me in the studio. And that is a large meter to be stingy. I mean, you have all sorts of space to make it good. You know, I looked in the Rolodex. You've got me stumped. I don't even show a Tram TR27. I show a C, which is the mobile version. I had that up there. But I have a feeling the 27E that I'm showing may be a little closer. But am I understanding that the 27 is not 23 channels? Because you said somebody put crystals in there. So I don't know how much difference there is, but I feel bad that I cannot give us the right photo here.
Yeah, Roger. Find a photo, if you can, of a 27B or a 27C with the smaller meter. This one's got the small little square meter like the 27Bs and the 27Cs. This one is the same size as the 27E, I believe, and the B and the C. All they did was, excuse me, from this one, they got rid of the rectifier tube, put solid state diodes in, and and then all the other tubes are pretty much, I think, the same or very close, but some of the circuitry is a little different because I have a B and a C and an E, and I looked, and yeah, it's different. But I figured out what was wrong finally. Friday morning, 2:15 or so in the morning, I went, oh, let's try this, and it worked. Anyway, it's got a switch for manual and crystal receive. And let me tell you, I don't know where the crystal receive socket is. I have no idea because it's not in front. Now, I believe it's the B, but it could be the C. There are two versions of that model. One has the external crystal receive socket in the front, and one's got it on the side through a opening in the cabinet. Now, this also had that. They've replaced the cabinet with basically one of the ones without the hole in it. They also had to take out whatever channel selector was in there, and they put a 23 channel selector in. The one they put in looks to be dial-wise from a Browning 23S9, the one with, where is it here? No, I don't have that one up there. There it is. The one with not the chicken head knob, but the silver and black little dial thingy. No, I don't have that one here. That one's in storage. Anyway, they took that and stuck it on the front and put a tram knob on it. So it looks pretty somewhat stock. It's not bad at all. They did have to cut the chassis to get everything in, but they did that, and it doesn't look half bad. All righty, turn it back to you.
Okay, thanks for the information. We've got the Tram TR27C, so it's very close. The who said something? The Green Monster Jr. Jim in Boston says. I think that's apropos. Nice audio, nice and loud. Meter looks good. Good forward movement. It doesn't sound. It's almost Browning-esque on the audio, but it's Tram, so it's got a little bit more low frequency. Oh, before you go, you probably already know where the frequency is, but I'll do the zero beat to see where it's at. But sounds good. I think it looks good as well. Over.
Okay, beat my zero. I might be close to being on. I might be a cycle or so up or down, but I'm kind of stuck with it this way.
Couldn't get back to there we go. Couldn't get back to AM. 27084 900. So about 100 cycles where I get rid of the tone. So pretty much right on. Sounds good. Looks good, and shouldn't have to do a thing. Don't hear any bad stuff at all. Over.
Hey, Roger. Okay. Well, the only thing that's a little odd is the receive needle just doesn't want to be generous to people. I can put it down to about a 1 or a 0, without the antenna in, and then when I plug the antenna in, it goes up a hair, but then you should be hitting me at about a 20 over, but you're not. But I can hear you, and I can hear you well, so I don't think that's a problem. But I'll probably take it back to Phil's tomorrow, and I don't think he's going to worry too much about the needle. As long as he can hear people, as long as it works, and he sounds like 56 just for kicks.
I think so. All right, two things before you go. So no problem on that. The Tram is good. There is, and I don't know if you can hear it, when you unkey the microphone, just come back and key up and count to 1 and unkey, and then do that again. I want to hear, there's almost like a Roger beep, but it's not a Roger beep, something going on. Over. All right, definitely. Can you hear that through your speaker?
No. Excuse me. I'm looking at the meter, and when I unkey, it hangs for a second.
Yeah, it hangs, and there's a beep. So is that a little bit of feedback? Is that some? It is very interesting, and it has its own little footprint, and that's not something the microphone's built into the microphone, right?
No, I'm going to turn the volume all the way down here and unkey. Yeah, it still does it. Yeah, let me do it again. Yeah, the needle goes up a hair, like there's a tone in there, and then it goes down. Well, it could be in the tuning in the back, but I'm going to leave it alone.
No, I would leave it alone. And Retro 6502 has it described perfectly in the comments. You have a boop. That is a Bravo double Oscar Portugal. You have a boop when you unkey.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope it does it over at Phil so he can have it.
Yeah, it's not a ping. It's a boop. It is very distinctive, and somebody says it's kind of cute. So you never know. The Tram TR27. I still think this is 1963, late 62, 63. Oh, and the other question was the OA2, which is in there. Is that something? And just for general purposes, does somebody have an OA2 in their radio? Is that the kind where you can cram the little diodes in the right spot on the tube sockets and get rid of the OA2?
Yes. Let me try something else here. Yeah, you can do diodes. In fact, this one doesn't have the diodes. This one's got a solid state little board with a chip or two on it, and it's built on a tube socket type thing, and got a big heat sink on there, and not big, but average size, I guess, small. And you just plug it in. Don't grab it while the radio's on, but I checked with an OA2 tube, and generally the solid state stuff gives you a little bit more dead key and swing, but it seemed to be about the same as a tube I put in, just to check. And since it had that, I left it in, which reminded me that I had bought a bunch of those to put in some radios, and I bet you I had this one over here, and I put it in when Phil originally got it. But anyway, I'm leaving it in. Oh, my watch just dinged. I don't know if you heard that. Okay, I'm going to unkey and see if I can hear my boop.
This is the Hear My Boop frequency. Well, some people might actually prefer the boop over to the ping, because it's right at the end. It's not obtrusive at all. So good deal. Don't get rid of it. Don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Thank you. The Tram TR27 for Radio 1. Let's get back to the control room here. Dennis is standing by. Thanks, Dennis. We never did turn on the lights, so it's a little dark. We're missing one of the front lights tonight, but there's some some mail in saying, why don't you turn them all off? So we'll have to think about that. Let's say hello, radio, SWLYs to one of the Voodoo West Coast Voodoo audio crew checking in from BIG Radio. Smitty is checking in. Did you guys get the big winds up there in the Delta? I've been down in Southern California the last 3 days at Disneyland and stuff, and coming back up, it's really windy here in Fresno. So I know you guys got some wind. So hopefully the loop. That's right. You're on your loop. Hopefully your loop is. You can still see. If I duck down, you can see all the wind going on there. So hope the loop is working out there in Rockland. Thanks for joining us. Now, the patient guy, 77 Radio Lifer Train Wreck et al. Hello, radio.
Good evening, Dennis, and all the listeners. Glad we could make it in here. Mid-60s, 1966, Demco Travelier, along with its adjacent power supply, and it also has the Demco modulator.
Nice. Demco, you always wondered why they putting together these big freight train style radios for 11 meters. I know we have a pretty decent picture. Yeah, we got a lot of pictures in the Rolodex here of the Travelier, and we might even have all that stuff. So let me get to that. The radio, one piece, the modulator, and the power supply. I think you said that's the items, right?
Yes, sir, and I did upload this particular station over to your particular station.
All right, we'll get that uploaded, and we'll swap the pictures. So we'll do that. And sounding pretty good. The radio we're showing has what looks like maybe an original microphonium plugged into the cool two-tube Demco modulator. I have a feeling I can just tell from the way it keys up versus that keys down that you have something different, perhaps.
We do have the original mic, and we're currently on a non-amplified D104, but we did put the Golden Eagle head on top of this old D104 stand that's got the Heil HC5 element inside of it.
Sounds pretty good. Not a lot of low frequencies, but it's not shrill or anything like that. It's nice, punchy style audio. And I'm still looking for the upload. I got a good picture, but I have not refreshed my uploading. Oh, there it is. There it is. It should be coming up. Sometimes it takes a while for the for the item stack. There it is. Oh, okay. Sitting on the bench, connected to the Demco. There's the microphonium and the power supply. So I am assuming that the power supply can be left at home if you're running mobile, right?
That is correct. And I believe Cliff at one time probably ran this in his mobile and checked in on it.
In the length of time that we've been doing this, I bet that is a true story. But it's nice they give you a separate power supply. So is the radio itself without the power supply built in? Is it relatively light?
Far from it. This thing is still very heavy. Everything is chrome plated, power supply radio. It's got big mounting brackets if you want to put it in the mobile. It is, in fact, you can see the big thumb screws on each side on top. And we are, of course, running it into the old fine feathered friend over there, the Golden Falcon.
Sitting on the bench, looking good. I'll put up the there it is, this camera with the S meter and the Orban loudness meter. See where you are at. I think you've got big signal. You're probably not quite at 100% mod on that, but that may just be where your modulator is set. But it's certainly not bad sounding. Over.
Well, we were doing our best not to blow you out of the headphones there, and I am holding the microphone about 8 to 10 inches away at the moment.
Looking good. Demco Travelier. I don't know if I have information on my prior picture. Sometimes the other Demco electronics will give me some scoop on the radio. Well, I've got a couple of pictures. Here's another one. We'll pop that in. All right. Yeah. It's the three pieces. So that was the standard thing. Let me see if it's got any. First, okay, here we go. That's what I'm looking for. First Tram Mobile, 1963 to 65. So this came out about the same year as the Tram TR27C and probably the Tram Titan. And what else is it telling us? This gives us the mic wiring. 1 audio, 2 ground, 3 push to talk. And who knows what the other pin is for. Over.
Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the pins is NA, not applicable. And you're correct on the other 3 pins.
Looks good. Now this is this is a mobile radio, or it can be. It's built that you can use it as a mobile, touted as their first mobile. But look, you've got a separate dial for receive and a separate dial for transmit. Of course, the transmit should be going click, click, click. It's got to be crystal control, but you still got to tune in the receive and spotting. Did you say there's some crystals in there? I'm thinking this would be a pain in the you-know-what to be going down the road and have to change channels.
Yeah. Grateful it doesn't drift, because that'd really be a problem. It does have all 23 channels on it, transmit, and, of course, receive as VFO.
Nice, and you got the meter right in the middle. Nice to have the Demco modulator. Is it possible to run the modulator mobile? How is it getting its power?
It actually has its own power source going into the AC side. I don't know if it actually is convertible to 12 volts or not.
I think it's got a couple of 12-volt tubes. It might be a question for Harvey, because that'd be a pretty decent mobile. Pretty a fun mobile. You'd think you have to put the passenger in the back seat and strap that thing in from Demco, the Travelier, appropriately named. If you have a little cart, one of those big 4-wheel carts to ship it out to the vehicle before you try and install that and wire it in. But it sounds good on the bench. And as a bonus, I know some people were looking at that picture and saying, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Well, you can get in. You can get into the radio room tonight. What's the secret code they need for jumping into the radio room after the program here?
Thanks for plugging that, Dennis. If you want to see this setup in action and listen to this current conversation, Radio Lifer with 4 R's on the end of Lifer on YouTube or TikTok. You can check this setup out.
Yeah, so join them in the radio room, and it's always a neat experience to hear, I'd say, the other side. I'd say the real side, the driver's side. Take the Uber ride on with the Demco Traveler. Sounding good for Radio 2. Nice audio, big signal, as always, on the meter, and nice and clean as well. So it sounds like the antennas are staying up tonight.
You know what? We got quite a few antennas over here, and they're doing the antenna dance. But that big old tower with the beam and the vertical on it, strong and straight, not moving at all. So I'm real happy with that because it's up there in the air. Thank you, Dennis, and thank you to all the listeners and anybody that checks us out on YouTube or TikTok. Have a great night.
Absolutely. We got the best listeners, acknowledgeable too. In fact, John says 128 Demco modulator power plug can be rewired for 12-volt operation. So, yeah, I think so. I think there's got the 12AX7 and who knows what else in there. So, good deal. Maybe we'll hear you careening down the 41 someday. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. The jingle singers, who have been a little bit quiet this evening, will cease their quiet time and do this. We'll be right back.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
The station for you, and maybe even you. Hello to our listeners, whether you're here locally over the air at 27085 Channel 11 in the Central Valley of California, or you are like UDX 510, possibly out in Pittsburgh, saying hello, radio. We're glad you're here. And we do what we do every Saturday evening beginning at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Think of it as a forum like you might have for the old cars on the weekend at the hamburger stand, you know, where you bring them by and everybody takes a look at the fins and the chrome and how cool things were back in the day. Same way with the radios here. Not a lot of plastic, a lot of metal. Like Dennis said, even the mobile radios are heavy back in 1963, but they're cool with the tubes. OTR is standing by.
Hey, Dennis.
This is the basic Dennis, over.
Hey, is it too late to get a late check-in 7-0?
It is not too late to get a late check-in for 7-0, and I'm going to bring up the 7-0 item. And I didn't write it down. I had a question for you. I had a question for you last week. And now I'm totally, let me go to the control room here and bring up that. There it is, 70s on. I'm totally blanking on what it was, but your name came up, and I want to say it had to do with some music, some musical group, because we were doing our Friday concerts. But was it with your call? Anyway, I now I've got you like, what's he talking about? I'll have to go back into my memory banks. No, it was a ham radio thing. Gosh, what was I doing? But anyway, your call popped up amongst some others. So I will go back. Now I've got you thinking about it. I'll see if I can find it. But I was going to say I've got to talk to Mark. He gets around and doesn't tell us. Anyway, you are checked in.
Right on. I don't know, man. I can say, music-wise, I was rocking out a little bit ago to old school. What was I listening to? The Beatles, Twist and Shout. Well, it was a cover. And then the Kingsmen, Lou the Lie. And Chuck Berry, 1958. Holy smokes. Johnny B. Good. If you've ever seen that video, he's incredible. I don't know about the other stuff. Hey, are you planning on attending? Are you going to be able to attend the swap meet a week from today?
I think I should be in town and should be here, so I've got it on my list over at Lions Automotive next Saturday, beginning at 8 p.m. I think, unless you're a vendor, then you might get there a little bit earlier. So I'm hoping that I would be able to do that. Over.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get there. In fact, I'm going to try to vend some things. You say I got to get here earlier, I guess. Number of items, a lot of FM, VHF, UHF stuff. A few odds and ends. I'm going to sell my 7300 if anyone's interested in it, but I'm looking to upgrade to some other stuff. Anyhow, maybe we'll see you there. Looking forward to it, and appreciate Larry always putting this place up for hosting us there. All right, man. I've yacked enough. Thanks for the late check-in, and have a great evening.
Good stuff. What is your what are you replacing the 7300 with?
A Mark II. The 7000 can stand in until then, but I'd like to get the Mark II, and I'm looking to get a Mark II and a 9700.
Got it. All right. Talk to Aaron. You probably have talked to Aaron, so he sounds good on that. And the 7300 is a workhorse. You can't go wrong. Anybody looking for a first radio that will do a lot of stuff, that will do a lot of frequencies, hint, hint, 7300 is good. And I've heard the audio. I heard the audio on the Mark II, and they sound really good. So I'm impressed all the way around with that. So sounds like a good item of interest. Anyway, thanks for jumping in. We got you checked in, and you are sounding good. Hopefully it's not too windy up there.
No, it's beautiful, man. And, yeah, I talk to Aaron a lot, but he never listens. Over.
Well, I'm not going to say too much because he didn't check in tonight. He might be listening if he needs to put up a defense. So good deal on the Old Tube Radio Network.
7-3.
Yeah, back in the day, Johnny B. Good, kind of pre-rock and roll, the first, what was the first rock and roll record? Nobody knows. And then the British Invasion, the Stones, and the Beatles, and then there was that folk thing that happened for about a week and a half. Peter, Paul, and Mary did pretty good. So those were some good times for trying to figure out what the genre was, what the music was, and back with when we all had our little 3-transistor AM radios listening in, maybe built a germanium diode crystal radio set, and received our first walkie-talkie, and the rest is history. And here we are now wearing old J.C. Penney jackets and pocket protectors. This is the Old Tube Radio Network.
Well, hello, radio.
Wow. All right. You have some energy left. Over.
Yeah, hang on a minute. Let me get tuned up.
Tune up frequency. That would be a perfect seg, as we say in the business, for the Jingle Singers to tell you about the favorite friendly place on a Saturday night.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
A station for you is OTR. When radios were radios, when music was music, no pitch shifting. Now they still were doing back then the wall of sound and experimenting with some processing. But boy, you listen to some of those older recordings, especially like Nat King Cole or Frank Sinatra, and the I don't know, Rosemary Clooney. The vocals are so clear; they are not mushed in to the music, and the music is clear. It's not all over compressed, but pretty good stuff. Speaking of over compressed, are you upright and standing there in 40?
Well, as much as I can be. Let's see. Hello. Okay. There we go. There's a little more audio for you. Yeah, I just spent the last. What I got to do now is calculate how many days I spent on the road. Sorry about that. It's my microphone. How many days on the road I spent on my e-bike. And let's see, I left on the 23rd, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20. I spent 22 days on the road with my homemade solar-powered e-bike and trailer.
So how did the sun work out? Were you able to E more than you had to not E for power?
It was funny, and it seemed the panels were working extraordinarily well. I mean, I was actually one day, and it was cold and bright and sunny at Lake Isabella. I was seeing over let's see, it was about 336 watts out of my 3 100-watt panels. And the battery charged up very quickly that day. And then it dropped down a little. And then the last day, wow, I was only getting about 180 watts out of the 3 panels. They took a good beating, but I went places. I think I probably broke the world's record for the amount of breakdowns and the off-grid locations that I went to.
Well, I'm glad you're back. Just let people know we are taking radio check-ins. And picture, anybody watching, there's the picture of the Homebrew e-bike. It's up at Fossil Falls, which is in, the South Desert here in California. So the bike is in the front behind the sign. And then I guess the power generating item is on the trailer with the solar panels and everything else and the batteries somewhere. And is that do I see an antenna on there? Over?
Yes, that is a 2-meter, 5/8 mobile antenna in the middle of the solar panels. And yeah, that picture was taken in between Ridgecrest and Lone Pine. It's not really the southern desert. It's more like it's basically kind of near Mount Whitney in the Sierras, kind of in that area. And yeah, it was all volcanic stuff. And at that place, I actually saw one of those big lizards. It was probably 2 feet long, and its body was probably about as big as my arm. And it had a mate too. It had a smaller mate with it. But you know, they're so far away. My camera didn't really get good pictures of it. But that was an amazing place.
Good deal. Rob, SWL32 is our reptile aficionado here, so he might have said what kind of snacks that you should have had in your e-bike. So the bike is there, battery powered, and so that keeps you from pedaling around. Back in Fresno, a couple of weeks. So what would you say your round trip was? 300, 400 miles? That's a lot of stuff.
No, try 600 plus.
All right, and I'm sure there might have been a few tires involved.
Yeah, I worn out one of the tires on the trailer, and I mean seriously, it wore out to where I couldn't use it anymore. I had to buy another tire for it. And luckily they had them in Lake Isabella over there, and then the other one I just I put a liner inside of it that I had with me, and it didn't really wear out as fast as the other side did. It's the opposite side of what you're looking at in the picture there. But yeah, man, problems after problems. Flat tire. I had 3 flat tires. Two of them were on the trailer. One of them was the bike itself. Yeah, it was quite an extraordinary trip. It was very cold on the first few days, and then it got hot. Almost had a heat stroke, and lots of wind. Every day wind was involved.
Indeed. All right. Well, Rob says next time you go, and assuming that you've had your fill, bugs, greens, and fruit. So keep a little jar of that when you find the dragons. And we'll try and catch you on 2 meters next time. See if we can think we can link something up. Harvey's ready to go. It's 10 o'clock. One more question. What would you say would be the lowest, in 25 words or more, and what would your lowest elevation and your highest elevation during the trip?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get down into Death Valley. I got within the Death Valley National Park, but I didn't actually go into the Death Valley itself. So the lowest elevation is pretty much where I'm at here right now. In the valley here. The highest elevation I think was 6,200 feet.
Wow. Well, hopefully the batteries helped you get up, and gravity helped you get down. Glad you are back. That is a interesting endeavor. And I won't ask you if you're planning on e-bike adventure number 2. And someone asked your age, so I'll leave that up to you, but something tells me that you're not 21 anymore.
I am almost 60 years old.
So I guess it helps to have a battery or 2 when you're pedaling, right?
Well, when I lost my low gear pulley, I had to help the bike go up the hills, and that means you get off and walk the bike. The bike still powers itself, but you have to walk with it, and there were many miles of that involved. Climbing up out of the Panamint Valley into the Owens Valley, that was about 4,000 feet of that stuff. So But it was at night, so it wasn't too bad.
If you don't get eaten by a bear, it sounds good. Thanks, Larry, for sharing. We were all kind of watching you and and rooting you on. What do they say on the Wizard of Oz before they break the commercial? Poor little boy, I hope he makes it home okay. So you did, and thanks for the update. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Harvey is at the microphone. The Jingle Singers are at the microphone, and they're going to win. So they're going first.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
In beautiful Fresno, California. Harvey, you're in Fresno, California, aren't you?
Oh, last time I checked. Okay, check in the Browning Golden Beagle R68T68 Custom D104 with the Browning medallion on the back of the head of the D104. Okay, that's it. And good trip, Larry. You've been tripping. All right. Take care, Dennis. Catch you next week. Or, yeah, catch you next week early and then later.
Yeah, I will try and make it in. I found out how to get some extra light on the program here. Just to put up something on the video screen that's really bright. It lights things up. But they're saying they prefer the darkness here. Sounding good. We will check in the Golden Beagle, and hopefully we will be out at the meeting, Hamfest, Swap Fest next week. We'll have some more stories, and maybe a radio next Saturday, or one of these Saturdays from the Dayton Hamvention. I don't know, Harvey. We had a couple of pictures. In fact, I may have a couple more from our radios, or some of the radios that were up for sale in the Dayton. There were a lot of Brownings. Here's another one. Let me push that in here before we get out here tonight. Golden Eagle Mark II, or is that the Mark III? Yeah, that's on Saturday. Looking pretty good. So maybe we'll have some heavy metal coming into town. Thanks. Anybody else before we sign out here on the Old Tube Radio Network for any and all check-ins?
I got a question.
This is the question frequency. Go ahead. Over.
You mentioned the wall of sound earlier. Can you elaborate a bit? I remember hearing about that, and I think it's related to something with Phil Spector or something, but can you give a quick take here on that?
I want to say that it may have something to do with, and I don't know of the day, and we might have some SWLs that are better than I at explaining this, but the Grateful Dead, and I don't know, and stacks of speakers in the hundreds. I can't remember if, putting those speakers on stage. What's his name? Bob Heil might have been involved with some of that, some of those things. And back when you could do a concert, you look at some of the Beatles. The Beatles go on Ed Sullivan, and they've got a coiled cord and an amplifier. And so, give it a couple of years, and you go on stage, and now you have. I should just Google the picture, and you've got 60 feet of amplifiers and speakers behind you, and you have crowds of 100,000. So you've got to project that sound just a little bit. Phil and Ronnie Spector would be a good search as well.
All right. Yeah, I heard you mention it. I know. Phil Spector had something to do with it, but I never really understood what it was. And all right. Yeah, I'll Google it too. All right, thanks, man.
How about it, Dennis?
The station calling for Dennis. Go ahead, over.
Yeah, I turned down mic gain and all the other stuff and the echo. I don't know how this thing's done it. It beeps. I was just trying to figure out if it was any better for you to hear.
Still good. I mean, it's got a lot of audio. I'm going to bring the S meter up. I don't even think you're registering out of my noise, but it's nice and loud, so I hear you fine.
Okay, I was just trying to take some of the screaming out of it.
No, it's there. I just turned the RF gain. Your noise level is about S3, and it'll modulate up above that. So it's like I said, it's got good beefy audio coming in.
All right, Dennis. Thank you. You have a good evening, buddy.
All right, I'm always surprised you can hear me because I'm doing it wrong all the way around. So I will learn from what you're doing. Thanks. It sounds good. I think you can put the Post-it on it that says A-OK.
Well, thank you, sir. You're right at almost 7 pounds out here.
All right, so I have 7 pounds and mediocre modulation. I have room to build on that. Thanks.
Well, thank God it's clear tonight. I seem to talk real loud when it's got a lot of skip.
Yeah, we didn't have as they say, a speck of skip today during the program. I was hoping we'd get some north-south so we could check in a couple of the stations up in Idaho or wherever, but no go on this, but we'll see what happens next week. You're sounding good, so you both stations are good to go.
Dennis, we'll talk to you later, buddy.
All right, the old Tube Radio Network. I know it's late. It's tomorrow. It's today.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
Be modern if you can. I was going to clear the rigs, but my clear rigs, it went away. So we'll just keep that. That's a good radio. We'll just keep that radio there. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good to be back in town. Like I said, I spent a couple of days in Disneyland. I know I haven't been there. I haven't been there forever. So there was a lot of newer things, areas and rides. There's some Star Wars thing that's pretty close. If you're really a Star Wars fan, you probably would just enjoy wandering around the little Star Wars land that they have. And it's got music, the music themes playing, and a lot of the employees, the cast members, as we call them, are dressed up as players. And if you talk to them, they're going to kind of address you in that theme. So that was kind of cool. And the weather was nice, and we're back here. So hope you can get on the air this week and do something good if the band is working out. If not, put a couple of extra watts into FT8. Thanks to Harvey on the Tram TR27. Dennis, of course, on the Demco Travelair. Take a look at that from the other side. That'll be posted here in moments. And the Browning Golden Beagle R68 T68. Get on the air where you are. If you're looking for that license upgrade, keep doing it. And who's talking about 100 milliwatts? We'll have to break out the 100 milliwatt walkie-talkies on channel 11 or channel 14 or whatever they were, and give it a call. Good night, everybody. And Nick, hello, Ontario CB Club. I didn't see you in there. Nobody else? I think we're good. 73 from the Old Tube Radio Network.
Hey, Dennis.
This is the Basic Dennis, over.
Phil Spector developed the technique by packing dozens of musicians into cramped, specialized echo chambers to create the incredible, dense, orchestrational sound, what was later on in the 60s called the Wall of Sound.
Experimental stuff. They've just come out of high fidelity on the recordings, and stereo was relatively new. In fact, some of those early stereo records would have somebody on the left side and somebody on the right side. So if your speakers were broken, you wouldn't hear it. And then if you're going to a concert or whatever. So good experimental stuff. Just like these radios. Same thing where they're building, let's put a magic iTube in, let's do this, let's do that. Good time. So we create our own our own wall of sound when you wire in the proper D104.
Yeah, there you go. And that was at a Gold Star Studios in Los Angeles, down there where you work.
Yeah, and the wrecking crew and all of that good stuff. Here is, let me see if that will show up. I'm trying to get there we go, a bigger picture. Whoa, I don't know what that is. Well, let's not do that. Anyway, thanks for the update there.
All righty, have a good night, thanks.
Be careful on what you click when you are perusing the Universal Media NetWeb. All right, there's if you're watching the video, there's the speakers that they did. I mean, they're stacked, what is that, 30, 40 feet high. Now you're standing in front of it. That to me there's the courage to stand in front of, something like that and be able to still do your performance. The Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, man, that's like the Grateful Dead's Wall of Sound. An enormous 75-ton custom live sound system built by audio engineer Owsley Bear.
That's right. I think on the famous Frank Zappa's tunes about sleeping on Owsley's floor when you went to San Francisco. And, you know, you're probably the same way, Dennis. So I wanted to be a hippie, and I asked my mom, and she said, no, eat your spinach and be quiet.
Man, I just couldn't imagine 75 tons.
I was trying to see if it showed the floor, what these things were standing on. So that's a lot of wiring. That's a lot of when you have feedback, you're in trouble.
Blow the dress off the ladies up front.
Indeed. All right. Good night, everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network.